Joe, back left on 4.
Joe Varden, Cleveland.com. Hey, LeBron. Ty mentioned a minute ago that he spoke with you this morning about playing faster. What did you see, and do you feel like that is something that you need to do going into Game 2?
Well, I mean, the coaches give us a game plan and we need to execute it. So, if coach feel like we need to play faster, then we do. We got to push the tempo a little bit more offensively. See if we can get down, get some easy baskets. And get to the flow of our game. It's been a good thing for us, throughout the whole season once Coach Lou took over. So we need to do that.
He also he mentioned that the way they're defending and switching, that this is the kind of series for isolation ball, and it's something we've talked about that you and Kyrie can do very well. Do you feel like if you just play a little better, that this is the kind of series where you can thrive in isolation?
Well, it's a fine line. When you're out there and they're switching and, you have a one-on-one matchup, I think quick moves and, not holding it as long, it's good. I think when you, keep the ball on one side for too long and you're pounding, then that can, too much of that won't result in good basketball. It won't result in good rhythm for everyone out on the floor. So, there is a fine line. I'm okay with us having some isolation basketball if we're going quick, but when we're holding the ball, we're just staring down the defense and we're staring down the ball, then it can become a problem for us.
Jason in the back.
Jason Lodak from Beacon Journal. Brown, there's a stat out there that you're 9-0 after losing Game 1 in the postseason. That's a pretty staggering number. I'm curious if you have any thoughts as to why that is.
Say that again.
You're 9-0 in Game 2 after losing Game 1 in the postseason. That's a pretty high number.
I don't know. My team has always been able to, recalibrate, look at the mistakes that we had in Game 1, I guess, and come together a better game plan in Game 2 and be able to execute it. I've been a part of some resilient teams that's bounced back from a Game 1 loss, either, at home or on the road.
If I can follow up, when Ty said that he showed you guys clips of all the layups that you guys blew, 8 or 9 layups at the rim that weren't even contested. So after you watch the film, do you leave that game encouraged that it really wasn't as far off as maybe the score indicated, or are you still discouraged that on a night Steph and Clay don't play well that you still lose by 15?
No, I'm not discouraged at all. I understand we had our opportunities. We played some good basketball for 36 minutes. The fourth quarter got away from us. We definitely missed some really easy looks, some looks that we are accustomed to making, that we've made all year long, but not discouraging the fact that we was able to get into the paint, get where we wanted to go. We just got to be able to, knock them home. So, as far as Steph and Clay, at the end of the day, those guys and this team is here not because of just those two. And we got to respect the rest of those guys like we respect Steph and Clay. When those guys either that's on the floor or the guys that enter the ball game.
Third row over here.
LeBron, Chad from the World Journal. The Cats just scored 7 straight points last night. Compared to we played in Eastern place of games, it's not good. A little struggling. Do you know what's the reason? Just because worse defense, or we have bad light?
I don't understand your question, to be honest.
I just repeat, sorry. The Cavs scored 7 straight points last night. Compared to we played the Eastern games, playoffs games, it's not good. Do you know what's the reason? Just because of the Warriors defense, or we have bad light?
We just want to play our game. Just want to play our game offensively and defensively and live with the results.
David?
LeBron, you have experience both pursuing championships and defending championships. I wonder from your perspective, once you win one, is there a pressure removed that allows a team to play more freely the following season? And when you're in pursuit of one, is that pressure something that's very difficult to get off from under?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. But another year of experience definitely allows your team to play free, to know and expect out of the guy beside you. You just know when you go through when you're able to finally accomplish a win in a championship, you know how hard it is to win that. You know exactly what to expect out of the guy next to you, from that point on, because you've been through so much. There's no easy route to winning a championship, so that allows the game to be easier.
In the back, far right.
Joe Gabriel, Cavs.com. LeBron, is there anything you guys can do as a team to get JR going offensively?
He's a huge part of our success, and we got to do a better job of trying to get him some looks early on, and just to keep him engaged, throughout the whole game. 3 shot attempts is not enough for him. He had a big fall to start the game that, really bothered him, and but we still got to keep him involved where he doesn't feel like he's just, chasing around Steph and chasing around Clay all game and things of that nature. He's a big piece of our team for sure. So we gotta find ways to get him looks.
Chris in the back again.
Chris Broussard, ESPN. LeBron, what did you think about the way you guys defended them, and are there a lot of changes you have to make on that end of the floor, or is it mainly offense?
Well, I think we defended them well, not great. I think we cannot relax when those guys make their subs. Livingston, Barbosa, Iguodala, those guys come into the game and they change tempo and they play with just as much confidence as Steph and Clay and Draymond. And we have to understand that, we have to treat those guys, like I said, like all-stars, just like Steph and Clay and Draymond are.
That kind of like human nature when Steph and Clay are out to relax, because those guys shoot so well and they're not out there anymore?
Well, it's not that we relax. It's just that, when you have 2 of the greatest shooters in the game, they come out and, your defense doesn't have to be so extended. We don't have to, obviously we all know that Livingston doesn't shoot threes. Iguodala shoots some, but they're not like Steph and Clay where, your defense has to be extended to half court. When those guys come in, you're able to shrink your defense a little bit more, so you tend to, I don't want to say relax, but your defense is picked up a little bit lower, so those guys get to where they want to get to. They get to their sweet spots. We may have to change that approach a little bit.
4th row on the right.
Paul from Law Sports China. Hello, LeBron. Last night you guarded Steph on several positions. Is that coach's plan or just you wanted to take the challenge?
Both.
Chris, back left.
Chris Haynes, Cleveland.com. LeBron, just touch on their bench again. A couple of players told me that, they were, a little winded, having to chase Steph and Clay around. Is there a team other than the Warriors out there that comes close to preparing, that can prepare a team to chase those guys and then have to exert just as much energy for those guys coming off the bench?
Well, no other team in our league has the 2 best shooters in the league on the same team. And no other team in our league has that many playmakers. People look at Steph and Clay, but when you add Draymond and Livingston and Iguodala, it adds playmakers. So you can't just key in on one guy. Those guys can all make a play for not only themselves but for others. But, us having 6 days off definitely wore on some of our guys' legs, from a fatigue standpoint. But, it is what it is. We're in the finals at this point. So, I think it was good, though, to get that first game out the way.
3rd row in the center.
Davide Chinellato, NBA Italy. LeBron has a leader. Which is your message for your team after this loss and going through Game 2?
Well, we got to be better. We got to be much better going into Game 2. I don't think we're that far off. You just know that you cannot, when you're playing against a team this great, you cannot make mistakes. Or you have to limit your mistakes. And when we, even with how well they played off the bench, outscoring us 45-10, you also can't combat that by having 17 turnovers for 25 points in their building. It's just not a success for winning.
Dave, back left.
LeBron, Dave McMenamin, ESPN. We keep talking about the bench and the numbers staggering 45-10. Your guys' depth has been such a strength throughout the course of even the regular season, the postseason. At some point, can you just say we got to stick with these guys and on your team and maybe know that you have the faith in what they've already accomplished?
Well, absolutely. From one game, you don't just throw. Like I said before, even after, I think that was after Game 4 in the Toronto series, you guys asked me about taking the series over or whatever the case may be because Kyrie and Kev had struggled a little bit. But we got to this point because our bench has been so productive. We got to the point in the Toronto series because Kyrie and Kev carried us along that way. So you don't just throw everything away over one game. Our bench has been so productive for us, and they know they're going to have a great series in order for us to win it. So we have a lot of pride in there from our bench, and I know they're going to take that. They're going to take that even better going into game 2.
Last one on the right side on the aisle.
LeBron over here. Yesterday in the game, at the end of the third, beginning of the fourth, when you sat out, they took the lead, went up by 14. That was also during the time of the Delhi common foul discussion. Did you get a breather there? Was that just part of normal rotation minutes, or did you need a rest?
It was part of the normal rotation. I usually come out at the end of the third anyways. I was able to get a little bit more extra rest because of the referees going to review what had happened. So, but yeah.
Do you feel that maybe you should have got in earlier, or maybe talk with the coach, and moving forward, does that mean you're...
Well, they went up 14 in like 14 seconds, so how much earlier you want me to go back in? Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, LeBron.